What's going on, guys? Welcome to Frank's Media and Reviews. I have a fun show. Well, I have some reverb going on. Holy cow. um, so I today's guests are people that I've been wanting to have on my show, on my channel for a long time, and I'm so excited to have everyone here. It's been a long time in the making. um, but I also wanted to make sure, just really quick, that my audio is okay. I know that I think this is the first time I've had some audio, at least coming from my end. So if you guys notice any audio issues, please let me know. Um, Today we are joined by my man. I'm just gonna start off right away. My man John from Let's Talk Entertainment and Media. What's going on?
What's up, Frank? Thanks for having me as always. Always glad to be here.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. So next is a guy that I actually met early on his channel for a little while. Him and I started the channel about the same time, if I'm not mistaken, right? And that is Brian from the Last Movie Standing. What's up?
What's going on, guys?
And next is a guy that is just popping lately. What the hell? He's doing pretty damn good. Buddy of mine, Chase from AVA Pop Culture.
What's up, guys? I'm the one hearing a delay over here.
Okay, I thought so. I don't know if that's you, Chase, or
I have.
So
Let's see what I can do.
You guys all sound pretty good to me.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get that sorted out. So next is, now it just got awkward, and we'll bring in the awkward person in the group, Daniel from the Cobwebs Channel.
Hey man, thanks for having me. Here to discuss movies that made me and ruin your mental health with some hot takes. So get ready.
Yeah, no problem. So really quick, I do hear that dang reverb or something. It's like a delay, at least from my end. From you guys, do you hear it?
No, I don't hear anything.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds fine.
Wow, that's so weird, man. Okay. I don't know.
Your headphones have an echo?
Yeah, I don't know. John, I might actually have you just take the lead, and then I'll see if it's from my end. Just so
Let's
trying to
see.
figure that out
You
really
guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, buddy.
All right. So John, go ahead and talk amongst yourselves really quick.
All right, yeah. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Okay, John, the pressure's on. You got to lead us.
Yeah.
Lead us
All
right.
right. I'm gonna lead us right off a cliff, so follow along, I guess. So
I see Insomniac. I see Insomniac says he just watched Krampus in 4K. I just watched Krampus in 4K last night. It looks so good, and man, I just love that movie so much.
It's a great film.
Hell yeah. Okay, I think I figured it out. That's enough for John. There you go.
That was quick. A good 3 seconds.
All right.
Yeah, there we go. I thought I had a bunch of questions from Kevin Kruger, but I guess not. I know I did last time. I thought I saw some earlier today. But yeah, today, as Daniel mentioned a little bit earlier, today we're going to go into a little adventure in today's live stream, and that is going to be I've known these guys I've known John for a couple of years, and I've became really good friends with everyone on this panel. And honestly, I just want to get to know everyone here a little bit more. I interviewed Daniel on my channel before, and so I kind of know a little about him. But what I wanted to do is discuss about just their 5 movies that have like the most sentimental value, something that's really important to them, and find out the reason why. And then afterwards, I wanted to talk about a little bit of mental health. the importance of mental health, support system, all that type of stuff, and just talk about it with everyone. So because to me, I think it's really important for people who are on my channel. They know that not only do I talk about physical media horror, I also do the discussion videos and just talk about the importance of at least talking about it. And I know that since I started doing that, I think it's been very helpful for not only me, but some other people who have reached out to me. So, and then, I just really want to get your guys' perspective and all that other important stuff. So I'll go through the chat and then we'll kind of just go into the top 5. So what's going on, Daniel? Favorite comfort movie? I'm not gonna lie, I think it's Battleship.
Battleship.
I love Battleship, guys.
Frank.
Yeah, it's good.
Taylor Kitsch, baby. Okay, you know what Taylor Kitsch movie I actually really like is John Carter. Do you like John Carter?
Yeah,
John Carter's not bad.
John
Okay,
Carter.
good.
So Frank just likes Brooklyn Decker.
Oh, that makes
I mean
sense,
that also helps.
You got Liam
Okay,
Neeson in
can you guys
there.
hear me
What a
now?
cast.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear you. There you go.
We could hear you the whole time.
You can hear. Well, I couldn't hear you. So
We heard all that embarrassing stuff you were saying. And
Yeah.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah,
Look, I'm
YouTube cut
old,
the
man.
feed. And then as always, every single dang live stream, Ryan is the man. He puts up everybody's link on the comment section. So again, that's also in the description section as well. Everyone's YouTube channel, the link's right over there. So follow them. Jordan, what's going on, buddy? And let's see. William, what's going on? And Jigsaw, mental health is super important, and ultimately the Saw series is a very dark. So I face myself. Yeah, that's right. He's all about Saw, guys, as you can tell. I love it. Daniel, what's going on?
Daniel's
What's
here.
up, Freddie Sant, y'all? And Joel, Dark Rooms, what's going on? Follow his channel. Follow everyone that's here, guys. Seriously, John Doe Gigolo. Movie
What's
Den,
up?
follow them. And yeah, there we go. Brian's channel is amazing. There we go.
Big disc energy.
I got
Big
t-shirts
disc.
on the way. Big disc energy.
Oh my god, that's actually pretty damn funny. Quietly Games, what's going on? And then I just want to make sure that I'm seeing everyone. And then Can't Stay to watching Krampus. Oh yeah, you mentioned it. So hell yeah, Krampus. I love Krampus. You heard it. Daniel loves Krampus. I watch it a couple times in December. It's so stupid and so fun. I love it.
That's not a new transfer, is it? It's just new packaging, right?
Nope, just same. Yep, same transfer, new package.
It's a nice looking steelbook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking about grabbing it.
Oh, Insomniac, 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. I
Oh wow.
appreciate
That's awesome. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah.
Insomniac.
live stream. He did 10. So you're very generous. Thank you so much, Insomniac. Again, on live on StreamYard, I don't know who has them. It doesn't say it here. So if you guys, if it says down below, definitely let me know. But from my end, I can't see anything. Just the chat. So Van Gool, what's going on? Kevin Kruger, hey.
Oh Lord, here come the questions.
Questions. Oh, I know. I kind of wrote them down. There were 6 questions. One of them was like underrated Christmas movie. I wrote The Ref. That's one of my all-time favorite.
That's a
Christmas
great
movies.
one.
Number 2 and 3, I left blank because I don't remember, Kevin. Number 4 was he asked about something about why is Criterion the goat of labels. I said I don't consider Criterion the goat of labels, but I do think that they're a very nice label. And I don't know. I don't think they're having a great year overall. That's just me. But
You know what you need, Frank? You need somebody to explain to you how to collect Criterion.
yeah.
Preferably if
which,
he's a man.
Chase,
If he can mansplain it,
yeah.
that would be nice.
Yeah. Chase, you're an expert on it.
I
As a
will give
man.
you. I will give you my best effort on that. I'll mansplain it for you.
Yes,
Oh, that cup.
I love it.
And then after he finishes his recommendations, the 4Ks will come out.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. And then looks like Joel. Hey, what's going on? Nicole.
Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
It's
What's
Risha.
going on?
Hello.
Oh, hi. I looked away for a
who's that?
second. I missed it.
That was his wife.
No, I know. I said Nicole. Isn't that her name? I just want to make sure.
Her name's Risha. Risha.
Oh,
Nicole.
Risha.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought so.
I was always confused why you kept calling her Nicole, and I was like, "Am I missing something?"
It pops up on her YouTube that way.
That's exactly what it was. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Which
And
is always
Joel, thank you so
fine,
much
sir.
for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Davey Deathray, what's going on, buddy?
Baby.
And then what's going on? Jane Doe. Hey, what's going on? Thank you for joining the chat. Jeff Man 316. What's going on, buddy? And Brian, what's going on? This land, lots of people. So I love it, man. I just want
to take this time to explain Criterion.
Yeah, do it.
I thought that's what we were doing here.
Yeah, man.
We're supposed to
this
only
is
bring
actually
Criterions, right?
Yeah, exactly. My bad, y'all. So I will just go as I described earlier. Is that we're going to do our top 5, like just movies that really mean a lot to us. There's sentimental value or meaning to it. I'm going to start. We're just going to go from John, Brian, Chase, Daniel, then moi. I'm last. So we'll go from 5 to 1. These are not in order. They're not ranked, or at least I didn't rank mine. I personally couldn't do that. But let's go with number 5, and I'm going to start with John. John, go ahead, bud.
All right. Well, one movie that always has had sentimental value to me is my favorite film of all time. And of course, that's The Terminator. I mean, this movie will get me emotional just from nostalgic feelings from
Good
just
choice.
back in the day. See this as a young child, and now all these years later on 4K Blu-ray, that beautiful Brad Fiedel score. It's an amazing movie. And who doesn't get emotional when the little light goes out in his eye at the very end of the movie?
Do you also have the experience growing up when you're watching The Terminator and the only time your parents walk in is during the sex scene?
No, unfortunately, my mother she watched The Terminator with me at like 7 years old and didn't even bring it up. She just sat there. It was weird.
Just another day in John's young life.
Not a prude. You know what? I'm also a T1 over T2 guy, so I respect that.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
I still love T2, but T1 just a little bit better in my opinion.
What's the next best for you after 1 and 2? What's number 3?
Salvation. I'll say Salvation's pretty good. I
Okay,
like that one,
cool.
and I saw that a couple times in theaters. It was a good experience for me. But the rest of them, the only one I really hate is Genesis. That's the only one that I wish.
I like Genesis.
Yeah.
Really? It's the beginning that bothers me. How it plays with T1.
I just don't like Jack Courtney in almost anything. I think he ruined Die Hard. He ruined Terminator. I love him in Spartacus, but he was.
Oh yeah, Spartacus.
He's not bad in the DC movies. Like if you give him just a smaller role, he's all right.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, him as Boomerang is actually really good. But I like Genesis, but just because it's dumb fun. But Dark Fate, I couldn't. Oh, I can't do Dark Fate.
I was 50-50 on Dark Fate. It had, the beginning of Dark Fate, like, if you know what happened, I'm like, I felt like my childhood got shot in its face.
Brian, what's your number 5?
Independence Day.
Awesome.
I was like 9 years old when this came out, and this was probably like the one VHS I remember I just ran through constantly. It was on rewatch all the time. To me, this is probably one of the greatest 90s movies ever made, if not the greatest 90s movie ever made. It's so good, and I still to this day I can't get tired of it. I could watch this every week, and it's so good. The practical effects all hold up. Everything, it's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite of those 3 lead guys? I feel like it's such a hard call.
I mean, it's Will Smith, obviously.
I think I'm a Goldblum guy. I love Goldblum in that movie.
I think the more I watch it,
I love
I'm a
Goldblum's
Goldblum.
dad.
His
No,
dad is great.
I love the dad. The dad is one of the best, most underrated characters in the whole.
Oh yeah.
the way Goldblum
Camille,
delivers lines, but whoa, 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 fat lady, just his whole breathless, way he delivers lines is
This
so
Jeff
awesome.
Goldbluming it up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
my wife and I quote that movie multiple times a year, especially the Will Smith when he's like, "I ain't mad," dragging the alien body, and oh, dude, I love it, man.
And who doesn't love Boomer?
Yeah, I think the one thing I quote more out of that movie in my personal life is like, I'm like, we got to work on our communication skills.
Yeah, I could actually see that. Yeah. Oh, especially for your line of job. Yeah, that's yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't get me.
Did you
started
hear
on
this?
Yeah.
Did you hear the story on? I think it was Ethan Hawke telling the story that he was offered the Will Smith role in that movie, and he was riding down the middle of the road in nowhere, Texas, and he's reading the script and he throws it out the window because he thinks it's garbage and says he's not going to do it. And
I think I heard that somewhere.
What?
I don't. I
Uh-uh.
didn't remember it was Independence Day, but are
that's
y'all
like-
a fan of the sequel? Because
No, I hate the
One of the
sequel.
worst.
Oh my
I never
God.
saw it.
Never even saw it.
It's offensive.
No.
It's offensively bad.
That's a perfect way to put it. It doesn't even exist. It's just
That's like the Dumb and Dumber 2. Just they never happened.
I think that
Oh, it's
about
on
Bad Boys 3 and 4 too, but
Oh, really? I like the new Bad Boys movies.
I couldn't do 3 with the whole son. I don't know. I couldn't do 3.
I mean, they
I
definitely
like 3.
there are no Bad Boys 1. I still think the first one's the best one, but
I really like the second one too.
I like the second one a lot. It's funny. It's definitely a lot.
Yeah,
funnier
it's
than the
definitely the more fun. Yeah, the Russian Grim Reapers. Yeah.
second one.
Chase, go ahead, buddy. You're number 5.
All right, I'm going to kind of combine two. I'm going to do one real quick, like a little bonus, since we're going into, sorry, Frank,
You
Christmas
son of a bitch.
season here. Christmas Vacation. I got to tell you the story about this. First of all, I am literally named. My mom was a huge Chevy Chase fan. I am named after Chevy Chase. Okay.
Is your whole family named after movie stars?
Dude, that'd be awesome.
My kids are named after characters on TV shows. But this I remember because I was like 9 or 10 when this came out, and I had a little girlfriend who was our next door neighbor. And this is back in the day, so you could do this. Like my mom took and dropped us off at the movie theater to watch this. So we're like 10 years old and 9, 10 years old watching this. So this is like my first date movie ever right here. And I watch and quote this movie till it makes people around me nauseous every year. So I had to kind of mention that one in there.
I had
quick.
it on this morning, like when I got up and I'm sitting on the couch with my toddler. I put on Christmas Vacation.
Oh wow.
I will watch it 50 times between now and
Too
Christmas.
damn early.
It's never
Yeah.
too early, Frank.
No,
Never-
oh,
Never
man.
started my Christmas movies yet.
It's not no Christmas
I watched
movies yet.
Gremlins twice, and that's
That'd
it.
be cool.
Well, listen, nonstop
Twice.
quotes it.
Every damn day.
That one's kind of my bonus. The other one that I've talked about so many times because it's my favorite movie of all time, and it's Rocky. It is my favorite movie. I watch all the movies, all the Rocky movies around Thanksgiving because I associate them with Thanksgiving because the first one, like a lot of it is on Thanksgiving and like kind of starts from there and goes. But this movie, even as a little kid, made me want to. First of all, I was an 80s kid, so Stallone, Schwarzenegger, all that stuff. But growing up and finding out, like, he wrote this movie and he, everything he did to get this movie made, that independent spirit, like that made me want to be a filmmaker. That pushed me to find every way that I could make movies. And like he, telling the stories of how they had to get around the Teamsters in Pennsylvania, like when they're filming, they didn't have any money, so they would load the Steadicam, which was new at that time, into a van and then drive out there, and he would get out and run through there, and they would film him real quick, and they'd jump back in before they got in trouble. Like just whatever it took to get it done. Selling his dog that he had to buy back later because they were out of money.
Crazy story, man.
All that kind of stuff. This movie just means a world to me. This 4K looks really good too. But yeah, Rocky. That's the serious one there.
Love it. Daniel.
Nice. Yeah. By the way, Brian and Chase, it's so good to actually meet you guys. Like Chase, I feel like we already know each other, but
I know,
technically
right?
it's our first time meeting. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I talk to
so
Chase like every day, and I'm never actually like face.
I know. I was thinking about that too. It's weird. That's what texting does to you. Texting and messaging. It's like I talk to him more than like I talk to you guys a lot more than I talk to like family members on a daily basis
Yeah.
sometimes. And it's like, but we've never talked. So yeah, I'm glad to finally do it.
Yeah, it's very cool. So for my 5, I decided to pick no horror movies because I decided to take this as an opportunity to not talk about horror movies, unlike on my channel. So my first is Blast from the Past. I guess you could say this has sentimental value because my family loved this growing up. We watched it a lot growing up. But the way my life went is I like watched a lot of movies with my family, grew up with them, and then I became a teenager and young adult, and I just like stopped watching all those movies and was just like seeking out new stuff and all the R-rated movies I wasn't allowed to see. But then when I finally came back around to this a few years ago, I was like, holy cow, this really is like a phenomenal movie. Like it's so funny. I love the 1960s culture clash of Brendan Fraser as this sweet, sheltered guy, and then Alicia Silverstone. It's so fun. And by the way, Chase, I loved your video on romantic comedies because it's so true that dudes love rom-coms, and a lot of dudes won't admit it, but we do. And and this is one
There's
of
a
those
few
like
classics out there.
That is one
such a
of
good
my
movie.
favorites. And I was asked why this wasn't on the list. And it's because I don't have it. I don't have it.
Okay. I have a DVD, and it's a good DVD. Like it's on Blu-ray, but it's basic packaging and it hasn't felt worth it to me. If it gets like a nice release, I'll get it, but it's a good DVD. I'm honestly still happy with it.
I love that movie. Absolutely love that movie.
It's the Blu-ray
I also have a poster of
print?
it on my wall in my basement. Really love it.
Is the Blu-ray out of print? I don't know if the Blu is it. I don't
think so. Like I could get it, but it's super basic and my DVD looks fine, so I just haven't felt motivated to do it.
It's hard to do that sometimes when you like when there's new stuff that you don't have that you want to buy. I mean, it's hard to upgrade stuff you have because it's like the money is a certain amount. And so it's like buy something, upgrade something I have, buy something I don't have, you know?
Yeah, I'm not a big upgrader, but honestly, packaging is a factor for me in upgrading. Like I upgraded Krampus to the 4K because the Steelbook was so cool, but I didn't upgrade it before it got a Steelbook. So sometimes it's
you didn't get the standard 4K?
No, I just had it on Blu-ray, and that was enough for me. But then that beautiful steel came out, and I was like, okay, this is the time. I'll get that.
Let me ask you guys this, and this kind of goes back to John's thing earlier and your thing. Do y'all keep y'all the old Blu-rays too? I'm asking this because I don't have Terminator. I haven't upgraded my Terminator yet, but everybody's talking about how there's like really no new special feature. Is it no new special features, or is it just
it's archival?
Oh, it's all okay. So it's the same as the.
Well, there's only a couple special features, and one of my someone on my channel commented how in one of the DVD releases there was like a very in-depth
that's a great
special
release.
feature.
Yeah, this one has a lot of special features on it. The Blu-ray and the that 4K have nothing. This has a big like documentary.
That's what he was
thing.
referring to.
Yeah, that's why I won't let this one go.
I was gonna.
I wish I held on to that
because I always that's my one thing about Steelbooks is I like them, but at the same time, I like replacing cases with if it just comes with a 4K and nothing else, I'll get like a 3-disc case or 2-disc case, and I'll put the Blu-ray in to save space, so I don't have like 3-4 cases to a movie. But you can't really do that with Steelbooks, unfortunately.
Yeah. My number 5, going with the Christmas movie, y'all. Ass is The Ref. The reason for this one I already mentioned to a little bit ago, and actually I think on KB's interview that I had with him, is that this one means so much to me is because early on in my wife's and I relationship, we went to a family dinner, and guys, it was fucking horrible. Like food was terrible. It was just like garbage, man. It was bad. So anyway,
whose side of the family?
Oh, it was my side. It was my side. And anyway, her family traditionally watches The Ref, and on Christmas Eve. And so this was after that dinner, we were still hungry, and we went to Pizza Smizza, which is a pretty big chain here in the Northwest, and we got that, and we got a bottle of champagne, and we watched The Ref at home. And so we've literally had the tradition of seeing this movie on Christmas Eve so much that even when my girls were born on December 21st, my twin girls, I snuck in. I'm not shitting you guys. My wife, first of all, she's a maternity nurse, and so she gave birth at the hospital she works at. But I snuck in a damn whole pizza and a bottle of champagne, and we got on her laptop this movie, and we watched this movie in the hospital, and of course our twin girls are sleeping. But yeah, so we haven't missed a year, and this movie just means so much.
I got twins.
I do have twins. I can hear you.
She's watching in the other room.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That's why I had to get these.
Yeah. So yeah, I got twin girls, 7, and a 3-year-old. So there you go. But anyway, that's my number 5. John, number 4.
All right. Well, the next one up for me is E.T. 1982. This movie, it means a lot to me because this is one of my mom's favorite movies, and this is one when I was growing up. We used to watch a lot on VHS, and it's always been just special to me just for that, just because I bonded it with my mother with it. And she would like come around quoting E.T. and E.T.'s voice like to me and my brother all the time. It was a little weird, but it still worked out pretty well. I think I turned out fine. And
Debatable.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm not perfect, but who is? And, that great John Williams score in that movie, and the great puppet. Oh, it's such a great movie that holds up so well. I still think it's Spielberg's best.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I haven't shown it to my girls yet. I think my wife keeps on saying no to it, man. I don't know.
I mean, it could be a little scary, like if you go too young, I guess. E.T.'s not the most attractive looking guy.
I don't know. He's pretty attractive.
He's no Alf.
No, Alf at least had hair.
Brian, number 4.
Well, I'm gonna switch mine up because since we're getting on the mom train, I have one of those, and that's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yes.
Dude, I love that movie so much, and I brought it up to Frank, and he trashed it. And I like Men in Tights.
Frank. I love Men in Tights.
Frank's the youngin. Frank's like the youngest person on this channel, so he doesn't.
I'm 83. Born in 83.
No.
I'm 41.
I was born in 92.
I'm the youngest.
I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
oh my God!
93.
Wait a minute. I'm old.
I didn't know we were
I am old.
You showed your age, Chase, when you let us know that you went to a date to go see Christmas Vacation.
He went on a date.
But yeah, this is
you.
like my mom's favorite movie, and my mom was like the biggest Bryan Adams fan. So like,
my mom too.
That's like all we would listen to in the car. So like, I literally bought a piano. This was like during COVID. I bought a piano just so I could learn to play Anything I Do For You on a piano. It's like the only song I ever wanted to learn how to play. Like, this movie is just so iconic, and just a quote with it, like "I'll cut your heart out with a spoon," or it's just
cancel Christmas.
Cancel Christmas. Yeah. R.I.P. Alan Rickman. But
is that out of print? I thought we were talking about not being able to find that recently.
No, we can't find the big box.
Okay, the box. But you can still get that one. Oh, my hat's itching.
This one was expensive as shit too. I actually bought this year. My mom sent me money for my birthday or something, and I spent like $50 on this thing.
On the standard?
Had to get
On
my
a
big
standard,
box.
yes. Well, the big box that Daniel has
but
that I want is like going for like 100 and something.
Oh, that's
bucks.
beautiful.
But they did just release, or no, it's coming out next month, a French version of it with some really cool packaging. But we haven't got this here in the US yet.
Yeah, I love that movie. That's
Yeah,
I want that
Arrow
box
video
set, though.
Nice.
I want the Arrow box set, but I want the one that Daniel has, the black one. I don't want that new exclusive artwork that's like tan.
Yeah.
I'm not a
I
fan
want
of
that one. I'm coming, Daniel.
But lock your doors. My precious.
This is a rare Arrow Big Box I actually pre-ordered because for years this was the top 4K I wanted because the Blu-ray is one of the shittiest Blu-rays I have, I think, and the 4K is just such an upgrade.
Do you have the what was it, the Ultimate Edition one or the one with the Blu-ray?
I don't remember if it's Ultimate Edition. It's the one with like the really pale tan cover, and it
Yeah,
only has the director's cut. And that was a big thing for me, is I wanted the theatrical, and this has both on 4K.
See, I didn't realize that until I bought this one, that the other one didn't have the theatrical one. It was only the director's one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of that because that happened to me with Mel Gibson's Payback. I bought the Blu-ray.
Oh yeah,
and the director's cut is literally a completely different movie. And I was so pissed off. I was like, what is going on? But the UK has both on their Blu-ray. So I just sold mine and imported.
That's a rare case, I think, where there's a separate IMDb page for the director's cut because it's so different.
Is it really?
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No, it's night and day difference. Chris Christopherson isn't even in the director's cut. There's storylines that I'm not getting into it. But yeah, that's one of the ones that it was like when I got Robin Hood, it was one of the things because I wanted to rewatch the theatrical cut too. And I didn't know this either because I only know this from what's that YouTuber fan scenes that keeps making videos about how he gets blocked because the Bryan Adams music video you can't find on YouTube at all, but it's on like the old VHS and DVDs, but it's like not part of the special features on the new ones or something.
Weird. Chase, you're number 4.
All right. This one is, I've talked about this one on my channel too, but Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the only horror, like straight up horror I'm going to do. Of course, this was the first horror movie I remember seeing. And I didn't see it at the theater. Wasn't quite old enough to go do that.
Liar.
Back then, it took movies a really long time to come out to where you could watch them outside of the theater because, movie rental stores were all mom and pop places for the most part. And so I remember, I guess it was about 86 before I saw this. And there was I have a brother that's about 4.5 years older than me. And we would walk down if we were at home. We had a mom and pop place around the corner called View and Chew Video, and because they served like snacks that you could buy, like movie snacks, so View and Chew. And then if we were at my great grandparents' farm, there was one that you could walk about a mile or two to called Carl's Superette. It was really like a convenience store that had a video rental section in it. But we went and walked and rented this, and they rented it to us back then, and we actually sat and watched this with my dad, who was a huge B movie, horror movie. Like he watched every crap piece of horror movie he could find before he passed away. I can promise you. There is nothing Vinegar Syndrome puts out that man didn't see probably. But we watched this, and I remember being so terrified because later as I got older, this thing stuck with me because if you wanted to avoid Michael Myers, that was Haddonfield, Illinois. I was in Georgia. I had no worries there. If you wanted to stay away from Jason, you kept your ass out of Camp Crystal Lake, but Freddy could get your ass if you went to sleep. So it always really scared me. My brother liked to mess with me about it, but I'll never forget it because this a hard way to start your horror career right here when you're like 6 or 7 years old. I can promise you that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was my first Halloween movie too. I was gonna pull it up, but now I'm not. But yeah, I love it.
I almost pulled that one also for the same exact reason, but I didn't.
Frank's got a whole backup stack next to him.
He's like, "What are these bastards got?"
Daniel, you're number 4.
Okay, so this is crazy. This was in my stack, and I didn't even switch my order. This was next up. So I didn't pick Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves because I already talked about it with Frank on my interview that I did with him. But I could have. But I actually didn't grow up with that. I grew up with The Adventures of Robin Hood from 1938 with Errol Flynn.
Flynn.
Was obsessed with this movie as a kid, and I was like, I was such a nerdy kid. I was super into like medieval history and knights and Robin Hood, and it was mostly because of this. And this is another one that I kind of left in my past as I got older, and I kind of thought that's probably not as good as I remembered because like Errol Flynn's in tights in it, and that's probably kind of dorky. But then I came back to it as an adult, and I was just like, holy shit, this really is like one of the best movies ever made. Like, it's such a template for like every action adventure movie to come after. I think it completely holds up. I think it should be in the conversation with like Citizen Kane and Vertigo as like one of the perfect movies. Probably won't be just because it's action adventure, but super love Robin Hood. Can't beat the classic.
No, that's one of it. It's honestly one of the greatest ones ever made. I haven't even
Yes. There you go.
I haven't updated to Blu-ray yet because I know when it's Warner Brothers. I'm like, this movie is so like important that it
And the
and it comes
visuals
to
are
4K.
crazy.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, like this, I totally agree. It's absolutely. I would say this is the second best route. I put Prince of Thieves as number one, and this one's an easy number two.
Yeah, they're neck and neck for me. Two of my favorites.
Nice. I have not seen that.
I got to see that one in
You've
the
seen Men
movie
in Tights.
theater.
You get it.
I actually haven't seen.
Wait,
that
what'd you say, Chase?
I got to see that in the movie theater, the Plaza Theater in Midtown Atlanta. Here, I got the old vintage theater. I got to see that there a few years ago.
Frank, just
That's
for
so
context,
cool.
this movie came out in 1938, so Chase is not showing his age at all right now.
Not when it was.
He went to
new.
opening night.
Opening night. Yeah.
I was there.
Oh damn! You can have that meme that I'm old.
So old.
I'm gonna start calling you
fragile. I am fragile.
Yeah, fragile.
You're all blue.
Must be Italian.
My number 4 is Sing, right here.
What?
Animated movie. Yeah. For this one, so my girl's Addie, she is on the spectrum, autism, and for some reason, like, I don't know, man, she wasn't really like talking that much. And with this film, one, she's obsessed with gorillas, and that it had Johnny Gorilla. That's the name of this bad boy right here. And in this movie, it was like one of, I don't know if it's the first, but if I can remember my old age, not as old as Chase, but is that I just remember her like singing one of the songs, and which just took me by. I was totally blown away, just like her singing one of the songs, and I just like I started tearing up, man, because like just her, she was 3. She just turned 3, and she just was being a kid, right? Just singing and dancing and everything, and I it's one of those moments there where I just sat back and I just took it all in, took in the moment. And so that's why this movie is very important to me, because it means something a lot as a father. And so there we go. So little sensitive one right there. So Sing, that's number 4. John. Oh, go on.
I'll say totally respect that reason. My association with Sing is when it was coming out, there was a preview for it before like every movie I went to see in theaters, and I thought it was like the most annoying thing I'd ever seen, and it was over and over and over again. But your reasoning makes sense for sure. I've never actually seen the movie too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought like the trailers, it looked terrible, right? And we didn't even see it until like it came out like a year or two, on 4K. So anyway, yeah. So that is my number 4. John, you number 3?
All right. Well, my number 3 is it's very different from Sing. It's a little bit darker. I have Pulp Fiction.
It's a little bit. It's got music.
It's got music, and that's a big reason why I love this movie. And the reason why it's sentimental to me is I credit that movie for me being like a film fan. It made me pay attention to movies in a different way when I started watching Pulp Fiction. Trying to understand like why the movie's told out of order and why that makes sense as a storytelling standpoint. And then that amazing soundtrack to the movie. And then, just the characters, they were cool. The movie itself was just really cool to watch. And it became endlessly rewatchable, quotable. I mean, Jules in that movie is one of my favorite characters in film history, and then not even that far behind him is John Travolta as Vincent Vega. It's just a masterpiece of a film, and it made me just pay attention to movies more.
I love Keitel as Mr. Wolfman.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
Pretty please with sugar on top.
What, gentlemen?
I think fast. I drive fast. I buck fast.
Okay, John, what's your favorite segment in that movie?
My favorite segment is it's either the second segment where it's definitely not the first segment, but the second segment where it's Vincent Vega and Jules when they go to the apartment, when they're in the car talking first, and then when they go to the apartment, right?
Burger.
Yeah, exactly, with the burger and everything
Big
like
Kahuna.
that.
Yep.
Big Kahuna burger. Yeah, that's one tasty burger. One drinks that Sprite.
That's
Early
the Hawaiian burger place.
Exactly. That whole thing is that's perfect. But the whole movie is perfect. The only thing that's bad about that movie is the Bruce Willis's girlfriend. I never got that.
Yeah.
I was just about to say,
Whoa! What's wrong with her?
She's annoying, man.
She's not a good
I don't think
actress.
so.
The actor, he could have got someone so much better.
the pot belly
I think
chick.
she's good.
Yeah.
Brian, you're number 3.
Quick question. Did any of y'all order that pop-up Pulp Fiction edition?
The Amazon exclusive one?
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about it because I want to get a nice. I have the steel book, but no,
I wanted to just because I wanted to have it popped up. It was just going to be for display until I saw the price.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like $60 if I remember right.
Yeah.
A little too pricey for that, I thought.
My next one is probably the most modern movie on my list. It's I don't want it's a romantic comedy, but it's called The First Time. It's a movie with Britt Robertson and Dylan O'Brien. Like, this movie came out in 2012, I think, and it's one of the first really dialogue driven romantic teen movies I've ever seen that took itself very seriously and didn't feel I don't know, like at that time it didn't feel like anything else I saw, and I liked it so much. Like the feature film I'm currently making right now is modeled after this scene, so much so I tried to pull it up on my phone. Like I even I don't know if you can see, but the two kids sitting in front of the bed.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I totally recreated it from the scene because I just think it's a really good romantic comedy with teens that we just don't get anymore, that are really dialogue based. It almost reminded me of something that would have been done in the 80s but was done in 2012.
I almost thought I'd seen that, but no, I don't think I have, but I remember almost watching it.
It's really good. I very highly recommend. The movie takes place on a Friday night, and it's literally about just they meet at a party Friday night, and it goes through Friday, Saturday until he drops her off at school on Monday morning. It's just like they meet and fall in love.
My wife would like that movie. I'm gonna have to get her to watch it with me.
That's not the one with James Woods you were telling me about, though, right?
No, that's Pretty Persuasion. Totally different kind of movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally different kind of movie.
I still got to see that one though, because I'm a big James Woods fan.
I don't know how he worked for Disney. Have any of y'all seen Pretty Persuasion?
No.
With James Woods? I don't know how James Woods still works for Disney or after that, because he rips on Disney like crazy in that movie.
Because he kind of says what he wants to, and just does, and then he's Hades, and that is a huge Disney villain that people love. So it's kind of hard to do anything.
I
about
almost put that on my list. I almost picked Hercules because I was gonna.
I love Hercules.
We do an animation, and I was like, if I did one, it would have been Hercules. Which they're making a live action movie right now, right? Or they're about to.
Well, they're making another live action How to Train Your Dragon. I didn't see that one coming.
I saw the trailer today, and all I can see is that famous shot at the end where he holds his hand. I'm like, that background looks so fake.
Oh my god! Modern movies for you.
Yeah.
Chase, you're number 3.
All right. My next one is this is kind of funny because we had a Schwarzenegger movie on here, and I'm a huge Schwarzenegger fan, to say the least. But my favorite when I was a kid wasn't the Terminator. It was Predator.
Predator too.
This was my favorite. Now, I think I was 8 maybe when this came out, and my brother and I went and saw this at the theater. And look, I there was so much I loved about Arnold. I went into after football, I went into personal training and weightlifting and bodybuilding competitions, and I got a master's degree in politics because he went into I'm serious, like I went into movies. I loved Arnold. He had a blueprint. He talked about his blueprint that he followed from guys, but I followed him, and I loved this movie. And this was the first Schwarzenegger movie I showed my son, who just turned 14, and he absolutely loved it. And I mean, I showed it to him when he was about 8. And my kids are very different because they grew up with me making horror movies. And so they were exposed to a lot of different stuff. I mean, like, Tyler Mane in the house putting a Michael Myers mask on, messing with my son, when he's little. It's a whole different ball game. And he loved this movie. But interestingly enough, this is not his favorite anymore. His favorite is Last Action Hero. And he is a huge, he's like a gamer and all that kind of stuff too. And he'll tell you the same thing I used to say about that movie. I feel like it was ahead of its time.
100%.
Last Action Hero, I feel like it was ahead of its time. If that came out like now or over the past 5 or 10 years, way different reaction to it. I don't think people were ready for it. Like, if you go back and watch that movie, it's really good. But like this one, this is like, if more of this were at night, and this were teenagers instead of a bunch of badass dudes, there'd be no arguing that this is basically like a slasher, like a Friday the 13th movie. But because they can fight back, it's, and a lot of it's during the day, which is odd for like a kind of creature feature movie. But because they can fight back and they're these big badasses, you don't think of it as a horror. But I mean, they were literally out there, running from their lives from a monster who's skinning people alive. So it's pretty rough, but this was always my favorite. Although I really do like Last Action Hero too. He's got me to watch it more and more, and I mean, I always liked it, but now I do. I think he's right. It was ahead of its time a little bit.
100%.
I think Eraser is one of the most underrated Schwarzenegger films.
Eraser is good. Yeah.
Last Action Hero and Gremlins 2 were ahead of its time. I think they just failed because people didn't understand the meta-ness of them. They come out today, they'd be hits. Yep.
Agreed.
The first time I saw Gremlins 2 actually was in a theater. It was part of like a horror marathon I went to. So when the film like fades away and burns and then Hulk Hogan shows up, I was just like, what is that?
Yeah.
At first I thought that the projection was having issues.
So that's the perfect setting for that, is to see
I
that.
know. That's a fun movie.
I love
It
Gremlins too. Oh my god. Over the top. Yeah, so good. Daniel, you're number 3.
Yeah, so I'm going to follow Chase on the action train. I do love action movies, and if we're talking just like traditional action movies like guys with guns and criminals and cops, my favorite is Point Break. Absolutely love Point Break. I think it is my favorite action film. I don't know. I think, and maybe it has something to do with the fact that it's directed by Catherine Bigelow, so unlike a man like most action movies, but I just think there's like this sensitivity to this movie that most action movies don't have, which might be why it resonates with me more, because I'm not a very traditionally macho guy. I don't know if anybody can notice. So I can't like relate to, I love Schwarzenegger and Stallone, but I don't relate to them, but I relate to Keanu and Swayze. They're like this kind of softer breed of masculinity, and I think that's one reason I love it. But the action is incredible. The beach set, and like, here's another thing that's amazing about this movie. It doesn't get credit for this. The dialogue. I think the dialogue is incredible in Point Break. It's not realistic, but it's super stylized and memorable and interesting. That I just love to hear people talk in this movie. It's so fun. So yeah, Point Break. Awesome steelbook, awesome movie.
Love that movie. I'm a massive Keanu fan, like massive.
Yeah,
always have been. Swayze too, but like Keanu still to this day. And as a person, he's a good dude.
Oh yeah,
so good.
One of the genuine good guys.
Absolutely. That movie though, like, oh man, that is one of my all-time favorites. It's in my top 25, like that video I did, my all-time favorites. That's a damn good movie.
That's a top 5 action film for me too. Love that movie. Almost a perfect action movie. And I like what you're saying about the dialogue. And you bring in great guys like John John C. McKinley and Gary Busey, who could bang out that dialogue fast and cool.
John C. McGinley's dialogue is incredible. It's
It
so funny.
He's just undressing Gary Busey. He deserved to get punched in the fucking face.
Hey, Utah, give me 2.
Yeah.
Give me 2.
Well, hey, I guess we just have an asshole shortage around here. Huh?
Oh man.
Oh man.
My number 3 is going to be no surprise to anyone, really. Old Boy. Old Boy, as
Very
I said,
sentimental.
yeah. To me is the one that got me into international Asian films. Once I saw this film, it literally changed my freaking life. And I just deep dived into Korean, Japanese films, horror films, and I was still like, I was blown away of the storyline, the acting, the score, the cinematography in this film. I just loved everything about it, and of course the ending is very memorable. But just once I saw that, like I had to of course get like the damn trilogy, which is not really a fucking trilogy, but it's dubbed a trilogy. It's the Vengeance trilogy, which is Mr. Vengeance, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Old Boy, and Lady Vengeance. It's really good movies, but again, it's not really a damn trilogy. They don't really follow, like they don't connect at all. That's
Is it all from the same director?
Yep, all same director.
All right.
But
I've
yeah,
never seen Old Boy.
Oh, it's
Me
great.
either.
I watched it on a
I
plane
know the
earlier this
twist
year.
though.
Are
which
you-
I think is one
what?
reason I've never watched it.
I've never seen the original. I've only I own the original.
don't say Josh Brolin, man. Don't say that one.
The
Brian,
Spike
Brian.
Lee version is bad, and I saw that one too, hoping it was going to be as good as that one. It is not as good as the.
I was
movie.
sold, dude. I was sold that Elizabeth Olsen like naked having sex with Josh Brolin.
It happens, but it's you know.
It's so good.
Oh man. But Frank, you should be proud of me because I did this week just watch The Wailing. So I got a little Korean cinema in.
And
It was good. I liked it. I didn't like love it like a lot of people, but it was good. I liked it.
oh man, you
Really cool
have
ending.
to see the
Ooh.
John, what was the no my eyes? Oh shit! God damn it, Brian.
I like bad movies. Don't you know that?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I don't trust people who don't like bad movies.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I fucking said I like Battleship. Come on, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Rihanna won Best Supporting Actress for Battleship. So
Well deserved.
MTV award.
Battleship is
probably.
why we have the Razzies.
I like Taylor Kitsch. I was bouncing around when you guys were talking about that earlier. I like John Carter. Taylor Kitsch in Friday Night Lights, that TV show. If you've ever seen that,
No, Taylor Hitch is great. Did y'all ever see The Covenant with him in it? About the guy witches?
no.
Mm-mm.
The
I've been
Covenant.
meaning to watch that actually, but no, I haven't.
It's really good, actually. Taylor Hitch, it's like a young Taylor Hitch before he was more of a leading character. He was kind of a side,
Mhm.
but it's good.
Taylor Kitsch is the superior Gambit. I'll stand by that.
Me too.
Oh
100%.
yeah. Without a doubt.
I agree.
Yep. John, you're number 2. Also, yeah, liking bad movies is a sign of intelligence. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny is my number 2 is arguably a bad movie in a lot of people's eyes, and that is Days of Thunder. This movie has meant
Dude, yes.
I
did
love
know that.
this movie.
I'm going to say something controversial. I like Days of Thunder more than Top Gun 1.
Easy,
Well,
me
so
too.
do I, and I'm going to say
100%.
something even crazier than that.
far.
Top Gun was a dry run for
Well,
Days of Thunder.
I'm gonna blow all your minds. I'm gonna say this is also my favorite Tom Cruise movie of all time. I love Cold Trickle.
Okay, well that's too far.
No. I've been watching this movie since I was like 7 years old, and it's never gotten old to me. And also, Hans Zimmer did the score to this movie, which he's kind of disowned and hates it, which really bothers me because it's a great score. It's so
That's an amazing
inspirational.
score.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got that you throw the synthesizer in, and I'm just a sucker for that. You know, then it's Tony Scott with all, you know, you get those sunset shots. And then this 4K is really underrated. If no one has it,
I got to get that.
Yeah, I have to get that too.
Risha loves that movie too. I gotta
great
get that.
audio on this. Great DTS HD at 5.1 on this. I really could recommend the 4K, and maybe it'll make you guys like the movie more. It's inspirational.
I love that movie.
I have a friend who used to host a podcast about Tony Scott and Tony Scott movies, and I was his guest for the Days of Thunder episode. And I remember the main thing I said about it was it is like a feature-length 80s power ballad.
Yeah,
it just feels like one long
That is
80s
perfect.
power ballad for 2 hours, and it's awesome.
It is, and it's like sunsetting the 80s. It came out in 1990, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
I love the 1980s, so it does line up. It's like on par with what I would like, and it's perfect. I love it. I love Days of Thunder. I want to watch it right now.
What is your favorite? Well, Danny, what is your favorite Tom? What is you guys' favorite Tom Cruise movies?
Well, besides that, I also, I mean, you can go so many different ways. I really
My
like
favorite role. Oh, sorry, John. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Rain Man as far as acting. I've always really thought he's underappreciated for that, but Days of Thunder is still the best in my opinion.
Mine would. Okay, all right, go ahead, Dan. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say I'll be basic. I think it's Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation.
Great movie.
I was gonna say Mission Impossible 1, the first one.
Really?
Okay.
Rogue Nation, Mission Impossible 1 and Rogue Nation are like this, but I have to put the first one. Mission Impossible 1 is one of those movies I remember seeing it in theaters and how that was as a kid, and it's Brian De Palma. Like it's just absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mine is going to be first of all, my favorite character of his is Vincent from Collateral. I love him in that movie. Also, my favorite movie of his, he is phenomenal in this movie, is Magnolia.
Oh, he's great, Magnolia.
I love it. So, Chase, what's yours, man? You brought it up.
I'm an 80s kid, man. It's Top Gun. It's Top Gun. I was there. I saw it.
You're listening to all the
Opening night
from us.
It's Top. But I love Top Gun. I love Top Gun Maverick. That's a
damn
good one. Yeah.
But Days of Thunder is probably those are my top 3 of his. But I'm going to tell you, I like him better than anything. Him and Kirsten Dunst make Interview with a Vampire for me. Like,
he commits Tom Cruise to Interview with a Vampire, as he always does.
Doesn't he hate that movie, or didn't he try to disown it for a while because he hated playing the bad guy or something?
Really?
This is like a while, but this is like
I ever heard
or something. Like,
well, he never goes back.
All in on that movie. When
he never went back to playing a bad guy until Collateral.
Yeah, and then Collateral, and he doesn't really go back to serious acting roles since Magnolia. Like that was like the last time he like really like had that role like where he kind of wasn't playing the action star. Now he's kind of that's all he really does now.
Wasn't Vanilla Sky after?
Yeah, Vanilla Sky.
Well, yeah, that's true. What's that? 01?
Yeah,
when was
2001.
Eyes Wide Shut? When was Eyes Wide Shut?
99, 98, 99. Yeah. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
What a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Damn it, Chase. Who okay, lost me.
That's a healthy marriage.
Which one?
It's
who's next, man?
I think Ryan's next. Yeah.
I was this close on actually having a Tony Scott. I'll do an honorable mention because Chase did one. I was gonna put The Hunger on here. Because
good choice.
That was, I feel like pure Tony Scott. Like that. Yeah, that was very artistic. Just him being very stylized, but before he became a little bit more commercial. Tony Scott's my favorite director of all time. And
nice.
So I almost put The Hunger on there, but my next one is gonna be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The second,
go ninja. Go.
You gotta have the ninja rap.
I think this. Okay, so I was born in '87, so by the time the first one came out, I was too young to see it, but I grew up with the Turtles, like the cartoons and everything. It was like I was a hardcore Turtle fan. So I think this was the first one I saw in the theaters. And I know it's cornier. I know it's more the lighthearted, fun one, but as much as I've been watching this since it came out, I didn't even know until like probably about a year ago that they didn't have weapons in the movie. That's how much I love the movie and don't care that they don't have weapons in the movie. But the opening pizza scene, come on, one of the greatest movie things ever, that opening pizza scene.
Dude, yeah. I thought I heard that they're having their original out on 4K.
I heard
I
that.
think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna do all three of them because,
They
like,
better.
yeah, I mean, I see the original. Of course, I'm a few years older than Brian, but not as many as you think, though. Not as many as you think.
You
'Cause
saw
I was
Robin
like,
Hood in 1938, bro. I think you're a little older than that.
He's a vampire.
the
Vampire.
the first one came out in 90.
I think 90,
So I was,
yeah.
so I was like 10, 11. And I took my stepbrother to see that. We got dropped off. But see, that first one, when you watch it back, because I was a huge Turtle fan too, who wasn't, he has like a grittiness to it that I think is going to look really good on 4K too.
It's a lot darker, and I think that's why I always like the second one, just because it was more fun. And being a little kid, you just gravitate to what's fun and colorful and upbeat and everything. And the first one is like, I love the first one, but it's way darker in tone.
Oh yeah, it
I
is.
mean, you got kids selling cigarettes, in like the underground skate ring.
Well, there's like the whole Grapes of Wrath, like portion of that movie where they're out there and is Raphael gonna die? And I mean, it's dark.
And I'll say April O'Neil is way hotter in this movie, in the second one.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yeah,
there it is.
But they didn't have Casey Jones, but I love Keno in this one.
Oh yeah,
I love the character, but yeah, it's second one hands down, and I had to get the VHS because this is my favorite artwork.
Oh yeah, that's good
artwork.
artwork.
VHS that I bought just for display because I love this artwork so much.
Nice. Chase, you're number 2.
All right, my number 2, if I can pick it up over here, is the Goonies. I like my grandmother will before she passed, she used to tell everyone, she's like, I didn't need to see that movie because when he got back from the movie theater, and I was a kid, so a little kid, I told her the whole movie from beginning to the end because I was so jazzed up, But then you
spoilers, dude.
But you look back at it and the power that went into this movie. You had Chris Columbus, you had Steven Spielberg, you had Richard Donner, and you see them all. Like you really do see all of them, like their hands in this movie. And then of course, I mean, like everything that went along with it, like wrestling was huge in the 80s, and they did the whole Goonies Are Good Enough video with Cyndi Lauper, and it had all the like the WWF at the time wrestling stars, and it was like Indiana Jones for kids in a way. And it just so simulated, like back in the day, we didn't have, we had an Atari or something. We didn't have all this stuff. So like we would go out into the woods, like on adventures and, let your imagination go explore like an old barn or something. And like that vibe came through, in this to me. And it's like, man, that's just like us. That's the kind of stuff that we get out and do. And, then you get a little older and you realize like all the filmmakers that are a part of this thing. And it's like, how the hell did they ever get all three of them involved in one movie, like this? But yeah, absolutely loved the Goonies. And I feel like every year you hear like a rumor that they're going to do a sequel to it. But you never see it.
Aren't they like working on one or talking about it?
I did see Brolin talk about it on a post on Instagram. So that's like the most like truth, I guess, that I've seen about it. But who knows?
I haven't seen the Goonies since I was a kid.
Oh wow! Watch it. It's actually surprisingly. It's actually surprisingly darker too than you like will remember when you go back and watch it. You're like, they could have died a bunch of times, and these people are trying to kill them. It's not funny, haha. They're trying to kill them.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, the guy that starts off, the guy's like faking hanging himself, and there's the Chunk gets a dead guy with a giant bullet hole. I mean, that bullet hole is like on screen the whole time. This dead guy falling on this kid trapped in a freezer, like horrible. And then
yeah, my wife gave me the look, man. I got the look when I had my girls watch Beetlejuice because there's a couple scenes in there that's not really kid appropriate. And then the Goonies, there's some couple scenes, and my wife just gave me the death stare, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot. But yeah, the Goonies is hella good. Daniel, number. Oh, go ahead.
any PG movie from the 80s, you got
Oh yeah.
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 nudity in them.
Mm-hmm. Daniel, go ahead.
Just like a random little rom-com. This is Sunday in New York. It's from 1965, I think. And it's basically just like a 1960s sex comedy. I didn't grow up with it. I found it like in the last few years, but it's become like an ultimate comfort movie for me. It's starring Jane Fonda, Cliff Robertson, and Rod Taylor, and they're all amazing in it. And it's just like, it's beautiful. Everything in the movie is beautiful as far as the eye could see. It's filled with amazing jazz music, and I'm a big jazz fan. And it's just like the most pleasant movie I've ever seen in my life. So I put it on like all the time just for like good vibes. So Sunday in New York, it got put out by Warner Archive, which is great, and it's such a fun movie.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. Jane Fonda sex comedy, Brian.
Jane Fonda sex comedies in the 60s are the best, and she is like the best looking woman of her time. Like in these movies, like she's so gorgeous, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Barbarella. I mean, Jesus.
Does anybody have that 4K? That's
Hell
the
yeah,
one
I
I
do.
want to get.
Barbarella, actually.
It's one of the best 4K transfers from Arrow Video. It's so damn good in every sense.
You know they're remaking
How's
that
the movie though?
movie, right?
It's kind of bad movie, but it's you're there just to have a good yeah, you're there to have a good
They're
time.
remaking Barbarella. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, they're
I heard that with Sydney Sweeney, which makes sense.
I can
and
see
would
that,
watch
yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah,
I would watch that.
Heyo.
I would watch that.
Yeah.
You know, Brian's been like the main horny one here, so I can jump in there a little bit.
If you see, I got like a Nadia doll. Like, right?
Of course you do. Yeah. Well, I'll bring it back to a little bit lower for our audience, and I'm gonna say Goofy movie. Goofy movie means a lot to me because my dad, he's like, son, this is our movie. Like he never called me like my name. It was always son, no matter what. So if I was in
That's
trouble,
great.
if I did something good, it was always son. It's almost like boy. So anyway, yeah. This was like our movie, and he even like dubbed it. He's like, son, this is our movie, and it's great, man. I mean, fuck, it's a Goofy movie, man. It's like to me, it's the perfect
90s
father
classic.
and son movie, and yeah, I just love it, man. And plus, now being a father, just how goofy the character tries so hard to please like his son, of like not trying to be too goofy, right? Just trying to keep it cool and everything, and just, but he can't help himself. It's like his character, and yeah, and so looking at from that perspective, because I loved it when I was a kid, because obviously I was very young, and I knew my dad was kind of cheesy and everything else like that. But then again, different perspective as a father and everything. So a Goofy movie is my number 2. So John.
Nice.
Yeah, I was just listening to Eye to Eye not too long ago. Great song.
Great soundtrack.
John, you're number 1.
Well, I'm on we're out of order, but the last one I got is actually a Criterion movie, and that's Rushmore, directed by Wes Anderson. And the
Chase
reason
is
why
gonna be pissed.
Mansplain it.
Let me explain how you picked that movie.
Please do. But the reason why I picked it is the movie came out in 1998, and it really reminds me of that time. Like this movie kind of came around as being like I think it was Daniel said it, like came around to being a comfort movie for me. It just kind of reminds me of that time. And even though, and plus, I just love watching any movie with Bill Murray. This is like that semi-serious kind of crossover beginning where he was becoming more of a serious actor. And I just, every time I watch this movie, especially in the fall, it does kind of give me nostalgic feelings, even though it's not a movie I kind of didn't start really coming around until I got older, actually.
Nice. I actually really like Wes Anderson.
Oh, me too. He's great. I mean, I know, like, I get why people might not like Wes Anderson because of like the dollhouse looks and all the all the dialogue he delivers. How all his movies kind of feel similar. I get that, but if you like him, you like him.
I know we're going into like a little discussion of mental health. I don't have depression, but I went through like a week years ago where I was just like super depressed. and I just binged Wes Anderson movies like all week. And every time my wife came in, like Owen Wilson is on screen, and she's like, "I feel like you're just watching the same movie over and over." And I'm like, "No, they're different movies." But something about Wes Anderson, they're really good for that vibe because like they're kind of fun and pleasant, but they're also really low key, and the characters are all kind of sad all the time. And it's a very particular mood, but it worked really well for me.
You always know when you're watching a Wes Anderson movie. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
very specific.
Yep. Brian, you're number one.
Snatch.
Whoa!
Ah, great
Whoa.
movie.
Guy Ritchie.
This is the movie that made me like want to go to film school and want to be a filmmaker. Like my mom got me into Guy Ritchie, and I don't know. I think this is just one of his best, and just I haven't got the 4K yet. I haven't heard good things about the 4K. I still have just the DVD, and it's totally fine. Quality's fine, but I watched this so many times, almost to like remind myself why I got into filmmaking and why I went to film school and all this stuff. Like his style is unquestionable. Like back then, nowadays it's like he's just doing stuff for a paycheck. It feels like, but Snatch was just undeniably one of the greatest sophomore movies I feel like ever made. Because Lock, Stock was a banger, but Snatch just you know, just a one-hit wonder. Kind of.
Okay, I gotta ask because you said Guy Ritchie's making a lot of paycheck movies. Did you see Wrath of Man?
I love Wrath of Man.
Here's the thing. Okay,
And The Gentleman.
When I saw the trailer for Wrath of Man, I was like, why is Guy Ritchie making SWAT 3? This looks like
I forgot about SWAT too.
And then I was like, I watched it and I was blown away by it. But I'm also have you ever seen Revolver?
Good movie.
No, isn't that the one where Jason Statham has hair, like long hair?
Yeah, very
I didn't see it.
very artistic kind of like movie. I'm gonna put The Gentleman on here because I kind of have a special relationship with this movie because right before COVID, because this movie came out like 2020, whatever. I went to London for a shoot, and I went to go see this in theaters, and I just thought it was really cool being a Texan going to London to see a Guy Ritchie starring Matthew McConaughey. I was
It
like,
makes a lot of sense.
coolest thing ever at the time.
That's a great movie, The Gentleman. Very underrated.
I haven't seen that yet, The Gentleman.
Dude, it's top 3 for me. Guy Ritchie movies. It's so good.
Yeah, I agree with
I'm
that.
not a big Guy Ritchie movie, but Wrath of Man is my favorite. I thought
Wrath of Man is really good. He's got a few new ones that I haven't seen yet. Like I haven't seen The Covenant, the one with that war.
I
movie.
heard that's great. But
that's-
when you
I
mentioned The
I
Covenant,
saw
that's
that.
what I
So
thought
good.
of.
I've heard nothing but good things, but I'm not a fan of like Afghan war kind of like army movies.
It's
me too.
So good. Jake Gyllenhaal is very good in that film, and oh my god, yeah, highly recommend it.
But I keep holding off because I feel like Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare was good. Operation Fortune was like,
He did King Arthur too, didn't he?
yeah, which I think is a massive.
That
He should have done Robin Hood instead of King Arthur. I feel like Ridley Scott should have done King Arthur, and Guy Ritchie should have done.
Dude, a Ridley Scott King Arthur movie, that would have been so cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, because have y'all seen the last Robin Hood movie, the one with
Yeah.
Edgerton? That felt
It's
like
on
they were trying
theaters.
to make a Guy Ritchie movie, and I feel like King Arthur, I don't like it, but oddly enough, I think it's got some of the best dialogue Guy Ritchie has ever done in a movie. The way Charlie Hunnam delivers some of the dialogue.
Well, I like
I
him.
think Charlie Hunnam's kind of an underrated actor.
Yeah.
I hear him get bashed a lot, but I like him.
Charlie Hunnam in The Gentleman, like watch A Gentleman Chase just for like Charlie Hunnam. Colin Farrell.
I don't guess I knew he was in it.
Oh, Hugh Grant too. That's pretty
Hugh
good.
Grant, yeah. Hugh Grant.
Oh, yeah, Hugh Grant.
Oh my God, I gotta go watch this.
It's so good. And fun fact, did you know Kate Beckinsale was supposed to play the wife originally?
I didn't know that, really.
Yeah, she was originally cast, but I think because of scheduling conflicts, because they kept delaying or something, that she had to back out. But she was originally supposed to be in it.
Who did that role? I don't even remember.
It was Michelle Dockery
Oh, okay.
from fucking Downton Abbey or something.
Okay. Chase, your number one.
All right, mine is a classic, at least to me, and I catch heat because I say this is a movie in a franchise, and it's my favorite one, and a lot of people fight me on it, but Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. This is actually
Are you on that?
Yeah, a lot of people.
That is the best one. Who said
how
that?
can it not be Raiders? I'm like, dude. Sean
It's Raiders
Connery.
for me, but I hear people say that a lot.
Like, I'm like, what? Come on. This movie, for me, yes, saw it in the theater too.
Well, that was in like the late 80s.
Yeah.
It's 89, summer of 89.
So, I saw this in the theater, and right before, first of all, Harrison Ford is my favorite actor. I mean, come on, he is Han Solo in Indiana Jones, Blade, like, come on, like, get out of town. How do you compete with that? But
Dr. Richard Kimball.
True.
Yeah,
I didn't kill my wife.
that sounded just like him. But right before she passed away, my grandmother, and I'm talking like 3 days or so before she passed away, she came to my house here, and she made me a homemade peach cobbler, and she brought this letter that I had to write to myself in third grade, and in our fifth grade, I can't remember. I have it in there, but you had to say everything you wanted to do when you grew up. And I said that when I grew up, I wanted to write stories and make movies, and I wanted to play football at the University of Georgia and go to the NFL, and I wanted to be a archaeologist like Indiana Jones. And
be a busy life.
Yeah. Well, so it turns out, so I played football at the University of Georgia. I didn't go to the NFL. I did write and make movies, but as close as I could get to being Indiana Jones was teaching high school history. And so I had to take that. And my first day teaching high school, my mom gave me this like leather satchel to take, like it's basically like an Indiana Jones style to carry, like my briefcase was an Indiana Jones leather satchel. So this movie means a lot in a lot of different ways to me, but it is by far my favorite. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Raiders and stuff, but I don't know, man. Like this one for me is the tops, and because of all those things, like, yeah, it's definitely, it means a lot to me. So Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That movie's grown with me over time. Like, I remember that was my least favorite for the longest time growing up, and I feel like as I got older, that slowly is becoming like one of my favorites. And I think it's got one of the best lines in cinematic history. The part where he's like, "All I got to do is squeeze," and she says, "All I got to do is scream." I'm like, just that delivery and how they did that was like, every time I get it up, see that scene, I'm like, that's one of the greatest deliveries in cinema.
It's there's a lot of good moments there. Like the guy who when they're fighting on the boat and the boat's getting chopped up by the propeller, and
he's like, no, go.
Yeah, the one guy is like, he just stops, and I don't even know the actor. He's playing this from the I can't remember the name of it all of a sudden, but like,
yeah,
he's like, my soul is ready. How is yours? Like he stops in the middle of all this, and it's like this oh shit moment from Indiana Jones where he's like, this dude's gonna die. We got to get off, or I'm gonna get killed by this propeller too. There's a lot of good moments. My daughter thinks it's funny because the girl's name is Elsa, and she's blonde and everything, and she's like, this is where they got the idea for Elsa.
Frozen is modeled after a Nazi.
Both Disney properties now.
Yeah.
That's
true. Yeah, it's good. It's not as good as Temple of Doom, but it's good.
Temple of Doom.
I like Temple of Doom a lot, but Last Crusade.
My Indiana Jones ranking is just release order. Straight
is
down
it?
The line.
You have Temple of Doom. I just think of future Mrs. Spielberg just screaming her way through that movie.
I love her in that movie. I think she is so funny.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, she is like. That is my daughter's favorite because of that. She's a dancer and a singer, and so the opening throwbacks, old school music sequence.
Yeah.
I love that opening. And as a filmmaker, I always look at that scene, and when they're like doing the sparkles on the screen, I'm just thinking that was in camera. I'm like, did they scratch the film like poke holes in it? Because the way that's done is so optical that I'm like, how it doesn't look like it was added on top. It literally looked like they just went in with the film and like took a pick and like made each one of those handmade, because they're so sporadic.
You think about too how hard that scene had to be to film, like where they're kicking the diamond all through, and
All
the
through
cameras.
the thing, yeah.
Oh my oh God bless them, because I know that wasn't easy.
Yeah, no, but as I was kind of like Daniel. It always went in order to me, but the older I get, the more I kind of want to put the third one above the second one, but yeah, I agree with that. I think the third one's very, very underrated.
Yeah, for sure. Daniel, you're number one.
So I'm not a big drama guy. Like, I'm not a super big fan of the drama genre, and I don't rewatch them a lot, but I think this one's my favorite of all time, and that is Good Will Hunting. So I first saw this, I think, when I was 19 years old, which I think is the absolute perfect age to see this. Like, a friend of mine lent me the DVD, and I remember I just woke up in the middle of the night and I just put it on, like, not really with the intention to watch it all. And I watched it all in the middle of the night, and it like so emotionally rocked me. I think this is the ultimate movie for young men, like around that age, because it's so much about both a fear of failure and even a fear of success and responsibility later in life as you're exiting those teenage years. It's a very dramatic version because it's about a super genius, but I think it just speaks to that age for men so well. And I rewatch it all the time. Like, it's like so insanely well written. I love the conversations in there. I love all the performances, particularly Robin Williams. So I rewatch it so much. It's one of my favorites.
Do you like apples?
That. It's great.
I got a number. How do you like them?
Them apples.
You like that?
The best is at the end with the ad lib. The son of some bitch stole my line. Yeah, like, because that was the ad lib line.
It blows me away that Robin Williams is so funny in this movie, and it's a dramatic role. Like, it's a full-on dramatic role, and he's sad and he's tragic, but he is hilarious in it even so. That's really, really hard to do.
That monologue setting out on the bench is like one for the ages right there. And it's so funny you mentioned that age, because I think, what it come out in 99? So I was like 19 or 20 when it
was 97.
No, okay, so I wasn't quite that old yet, but yeah, that came out like my senior year of high school. So yeah, right around that time.
Wasn't that fart line ad-lib too?
Yes, yeah. Because Damon's really just laughing. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Smith got offered to direct that movie.
That's crazy.
What?
Oh God,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, before
I love Kevin Smith, but that wouldn't have worked.
Kevin Smith is a producer on it because Ben Affleck gave him the script and was like, "Hey, you should direct this," and he read it and was like, "No, I can't. You should get somebody better." But he gave it.
Yeah, there he is.
He
co-executive producer.
He gave it to Miramax for them, and he's credited as it, but he didn't really do anything. That's why he was able to do the spoof for Good Will Hunting 2.
And Silent Bob.
How
do you like them apples?
Good Will Hunting 2, hunting season.
The only bad thing about this movie is the success of it led Gus Van Sant to make the Psycho remake one of the worst movies of all time.
Oh my God. What was he thinking?
Very sad.
Because he's a great
Gus
director.
Van Sant. You had a good analogy earlier about Days of Thunder. I told my buddy who's a filmmaker, I said, Gus Van Sant and the Cassavetes, like Nick Cassavetes and stuff, I like those directors are like if method actors were directors. That's the feeling I get from Gus Van Sant and like the Cassavetes family, like Nick Cassavetes and stuff like that. It's like they go weird and they go all in, and you're not sure what you're gonna get, and it could be great.
It could be a notebook.
Yeah. So it's like it's all over the place, but they can go all in. I can't imagine Kevin Smith directing that in his place.
That would never work.
But that was also, I think, right after Chasing Amy too. So
I do really like Chasing Amy. That's my favorite Kevin Smith.
I'm waiting for that to come to 4K.
Oh, it's gonna
Dogma's still
happen.
my favorite.
Is it
from
even
him.
on Blu-ray?
It's on.
It is. I
Blu-ray,
have Blu-ray.
but
Okay.
the DVD was. I have the Criterion DVD, so Criterion did the DVD. So I'm hoping
Yeah, I remember
Criterion
that.
does the 4K. I don't know who did the DVD.
You don't think it'll be Arrow that gets the Kevin Smith stuff? No.
Not Chasing Amy. They got Mallrats. But his stuff bounces around.
Who's going to get Dogma? Because he's saying that's coming. So
I heard Paramount's going to get that, and they're going to get Clerks, Chasing Amy, and Jersey Girl is what I heard they're going to be doing.
I can see. I've never seen. I've always wanted to. I've just never seen Jersey.
It's not as bad as people say it is. It's
That's what I've heard.
It's decent actually, and you actually get a good George Carlin performance in there, which is weird to say, but it's pretty good.
Be nice if they did. If Paramount got it, if they did them as the Paramount Presents package.
I was gonna say
Chasing Amy. I think would for sure.
Oh yeah, Chasing Amy would for sure get a Paramount Presents because that was like an Oscar nominated movie and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was it? Oh, I didn't even realize that.
I think was it for? It might have been for writing, but I think the Joey
Lawrence
maybe got. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I think they got some kind of Oscar or something, not for like movie or anything big, but something smaller.
Cool.
My number one was already brought up, but I had to bring it because everyone knows I'm a big into the horror genre, and this is the reason why is because of Nightmare on Elm Street. It was the first horror movie. You know what? I don't know if this was the first movie that I remember. It was either that or Enter the Dragon. But those are the two earliest movies that I remember. But this was my gateway into horror. I had plenty of damn nightmares. So freaking crazy imagery, everything to this film, just so iconic. How it's so memorable. The kills are just insane. And when I was a fucking young kid, just blood gushing up in the air, the body's like dragging down in the hallway when no one's dragging it, right? It's just the body itself, blood smearing on the floor, everything. It was very memorable, but it just got me into the horror genre, and I have never looked back. So thank you, Dad, for the nightmares. I appreciate it.
It's funny how we look back so nostalgically on being terrified by movies as a kid, and that's why, like, I don't know, at this point I don't feel concerned about scaring my kid with movies, but at this point he's almost 2 years old, but he just loves all kinds of spooky stuff because I have so much horror stuff in the house. But I wonder when he's gonna get like really scared by movies, and I just think I know you're gonna enjoy this one day. Like, you're gonna look back on those memories very fondly.
And they may not, like my son, like because if he grew up seeing it and hear you talk about it and stuff, like my son, his first horror movie was the original It, the 1990, the Tim Curry It,
great
and we watched that on vacation in Daytona Beach. We would come back in and we'd watch it, throughout the whole time we were there. And like when we came back home, he put it on in his bedroom at night to go to sleep, watching it at 8 years old. He's like,
comforting.
He's in there falling asleep watching Terrifier 2 the other night. I'm like, dude, you're gonna have weird dreams, bro.
Oh man, one of my best friends is a middle school teacher, and he says the kids these days, they are all about Art the Clown. They talk about Art the Clown like all the time. He is the big icon.
Probably the closest thing that we've had for an horror icon since
it's been a while. Jigsaw.
I think he is.
Our Jigsaw, Jigsaw.
I hear some people throw out Victor Crowley, but
no,
never made it
beyond
real
that's
indie horror fans.
Cut. Yeah, that's deep cut.
I would say Bill's Pennywise, but then I think I think art overtook him, definitely, for sure.
I think the earliest memory I have of something scaring me as a kid was Maleficent. Like the cartoon Maleficent.
Yeah,
remember that?
Snow White for me, I think
that scared the shit out of me when I was a little kid, and my oldest sister would always make fun of me for it. But I was like, that she's scary. Like, that's why I never got into the Maleficent live action ones, because they made her a good guy. And I'm like,
pretty
oh,
bad
that's a
anyway.
scary bitch. Like,
I've actually, for me, biggest fear of Disney was Pinocchio and the kid
Yeah.
turning into a donkey.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Horrifying, absolutely traumatizing.
That is basically a werewolf transformation. If you
Yeah.
really think about it, it is a type of a werewolf transformation in a movie. Like it is, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for giving me your top 5. That was a pretty long discussion, guys. Whole topic, man. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be that long. So we're an hour and a
Thanks,
half.
like, man, you guys really droned on, didn't
Yeah,
you?
no,
Yeah,
it's great,
Well, us
man.
old people, we talk a lot. We get you people to listen, and we just talk.
Yeah, mansplaining and shit.
Mansplaining the shit out of it.
But yeah, what I wanted to talk about afterwards was basically the importance of mental health and just kind of what I think is that the acknowledging it, how the importance of even that step, and then I just know that around this time of the season, holiday season, it's some people. I've had it last year. Just had a tough time with depression or just. Or even as a content creator, we kind of discussed that a little bit. Just things that just goes into being a content creator, how overwhelming it can be, the struggles of that. Either it's like people's like criticism or nitpicking or just saying just whatever. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about it. Like, I know for me growing up, like I was like being real, because this is kind of like being real segment, is that for me, I resisted therapy for a number of years until just last year. And I know for me that definitely changed my outlook into just myself, me as a father and a husband. And what kind of got me through it was like, so like last year, it was actually on Christmas Eve. I don't know what happened, but like I was I was very depressed. I didn't want to be with my family. My wife was making, and the kids were making Christmas cookies and everything. But for me, I didn't want any part of it. And I didn't know what the hell hit me, because I've never experienced that in my entire life until that moment. And then just talking it out with my wife and my therapist, like just all that type of stuff, and just how important mental health is for individuals, and just not for men solely, but I kind of just wanted to talk about it specifically because I know that it's not like not every day people kind of talk about it or acknowledge it, especially for us men. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion about that, like like how important it is to you guys individually. How does it relate to you guys as like a content creator, and stuff like that? So again, I'm going to start with John, Brian, Chase, Daniel, kind of go from there. So John,
Yeah, well, when it comes to mental health, honestly, it's one thing I've actually struggled with my whole life. I don't really talk about it too much, but I do struggle with anxiety, and it's a struggle every single day. I take medication for it. It's nothing to really be embarrassed about. I've never really gone to therapy. It's something I've always resisted, and something you kind of brought up as like being a guy, especially in my family, was not something you really talked about. And even to this day, I struggle to like talk to my father about. There was a skit on SNL recently, like Bill Burr was calling his kids, like he's an old man, and he's calling his kids, and his kids only talk to him about very like low level subjects, like about sports and stuff. And that's kind of how it is, like talking to my father, is like we never go above a certain level. It's just because it's just an uncomfortable subject. I always felt like to talk about, like how your mental health is, and it's just something I never fully felt comfortable with. But it is a struggle every single day, and doing this does help, but it also can be another thing where you get anxiety about doing this, making sure that it's something that gets done as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, this whole time of the season is like probably like the worst for me. Just I don't know. I remember last Christmas was like really depressing, and what was it? One movie that actually I discovered that kind of helped me was Sabrina with Aubrey Hepburn from like 1954. I think I watched it on YouTube, and I remember I was at my sister's house. And ever since my parents got divorced, like I don't know, like 10 years ago or something, it's just holidays are just not the same because my parents still are not like grown adults, but they don't go in the same room, so it's like separate everything. So it's like I hate going home for Christmas. I hate going home for Thanksgiving. It's just weird and stuff. So I feel like that's the only time I have to like fake it to make it when I'm over there, and I just because I'm the only one out of four siblings that actually lives away. Like I live 5 hours away and everything, but yeah, this past week has been like really hard. I made a video about it, and it was just like I didn't make a video for over a week, and it was gonna be almost 2 weeks, and I was like I had nothing I wanted to talk about. Like I don't want to. Being a YouTuber, I can't just like turn it on and fake it, and then turn the camera and be like a totally different person, you know. So that was actually a really hard video to put out. Like I think I held it for like 1 or 2 days 'cause I wasn't sure, you know.
Mhm.
But it was like I don't know. I think talking about it is really important. I think just being authentic about it. Like I don't think if you're I don't want to. It's kind of hard to explain, but I feel like it's for me it's therapeutic. I've never gone through therapy, but being able to just talk to myself in front of a camera, even if I'm just talking to myself, like you ever just talk to yourself in a mirror or just say something to yourself, like that's kind of like what I feel like sometimes when I'm filming YouTube videos. I'm just talking to myself, you know. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I don't have like that like support rock, you know. So sometimes it's a little hard to just. I stay in my head too much. Like I'll go on the couch, I'll just watch movies, and I'll watch the same movie over and over again, and just like zombie out, you know.
Yep. Well, that's you are. I have noticed making films that anxiety and depression run pretty common with very creative people, especially creative people who are in charge of anything in any way. Mine's a little bit different. Like I've dealt with like anxiety and panic attacks for like 15 years. People be like, why can't you just calm down? It doesn't have anything to do with it. Like I will just be sitting there and I'll get like a wave and I'll feel kind of anxious all of a sudden. My heart will start beating fast and everything else. And it's like for me, it can be traced back. My son was about to be born. And my wife was about 8 months pregnant, got really dizzy, had to go to the doctor, to the emergency room. And they thought they found a tumor in my head that was going to kill me. And it turned out about a month later, after all these tests, because they did all these tests and they couldn't find what they thought they found on the CAT scan. Turned out that the CAT scan that they did at the hospital, it had just been used too much throughout that day, and it had a hot spot that it burned into the
Oh my
image.
gosh, man, that's terrible.
Oh my
And
God.
like by the time we found this out, I was only like my son was about a week from being born, and which was a relief, but it caused me so much anxiety that like I mean, for about the next year, I had a hard time like functioning, like leaving my house. It worked out that I was here. I was writing scripts. I was taking care of my newborn son, but I would just be sitting there and all of a sudden, just, I don't know, it almost feels like you get fight or flight, but you're just sitting there, and for no reason, or sometimes it would wake me up. I'd be asleep and I would wake straight up and my heart would be beating like I'm running. And then you just kind of get like anxious about being anxious. And it just becomes this big snowball. And then you get in your head all the time. And then you're just thinking about like, is it going to get me out here? Is it going to get me there? And it makes it hard to concentrate. And it can make it hard to deal with like normal stuff that you need to get done because you're expending all this energy on the inside to stay even. And I didn't want to, like, the medicines were messing with me, and I didn't want to take that. So I threw myself into working out more and doing what they call basically carrying an anxiety pill in your pocket for emergency. They call it a pill in the pocket approach. It's like carrying a security blanket almost. And I found that I could take care of myself. I figured out what they call them triggers, what they are. If I don't sleep enough, I get overstressed, I get worked up, I don't eat right, I don't exercise enough, because the exercise helps me, burn off anxiety and tension. And if I don't do those things enough, I'll start having anxiety attacks again out of nowhere. And the more you have, the more you have. Like, you have to, like, break that cycle. And movies and this channel, it's like I told people, I was like, man, 2020 happened. I was rolling along. I had made like 8 movies over the course of 10 years or whatever it was. And 2020 happened and it all just stopped. Nobody was investing in movies. I had committed to this, and it was like, oh crap, all that is gone. And that causes a lot of anxiety. It's like, what are you going to do? And I never wanted to quit just making movies altogether, but get cheated out. There's all kinds of problems with independent film world. Brian knows this too. Like, most of my movies I've gotten no money from because distributors are shady. And so that's stressful. But I was like, what am I going to do here? And I've been missing talking to people about movies, about films, sharing what I know. Now, I don't want to go back to teaching at all. I'm not really interested in going back to teaching anymore. But, the channel, it can be a source of stress and anxiety too, because you're trying to, you want to do well. You want to, reach people. You want to, make revenue from if you're putting in all this work. I mean, it's nice to get something back for it. But it filled that hole for me. And it's the same thing, talking to people about movies. This gave me an outlet. I really meant it. I wanted to come in here and connect with people and just share the love of movies because they're therapeutic. I do the same thing Brian does. Like, I was super stressed during the month of October. And my son plays football. I was just so pressed for time and all this stuff. And I just couldn't get in the right mind space. So every night I would go to sleep watching movies that made me feel better over and over again. Hubie Halloween, or, something fun, comfortable, and ridiculous. And movies can do that. I try to tell people that all the time, try to share it. People, if you find the right movies that connect with you, they can, I think I said at the end of my rom-com video, they can help heal your heart. They can heal your mind. They can put you in a better mood. They can get you right back on the right track. And that's the fucking power of them. And you want to share that with people because it's part of what helped heal me. And I'm a work in progress. I am not healed. I had an anxiety attack for the first time in a while last month, and I was like, no, screw this. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to take some time and I'm just going to watch movies and feel better. And, I think that's the power of them. That's the power of them. It goes beyond just, is this a good looking 4K or something like that? There's a lot of power there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like going back to like what you were saying, it got me like I remember I never really knew panic attacks until it was 2017. My first feature film, Hell of a Night, was premiering in Austin, and it was like a bit like living in Texas. I don't live in Austin, so having it premiere in Austin was like a really cool big thing. And I remember it was my first film festival, and I'm going to this meet and greet. I'm there by myself. There's all my actors and stuff aren't in town yet. I'm in there early. I'm at this like meet and greet, and I had literally like the worst anxiety attack. I couldn't be around any of those people. I didn't know any of them, and I'm not just like an extrovert. I'm just gonna go out and introduce myself or something. It's just I felt in the most oddest place. And then I think last year was one of my second, like that I remember. I remember I was on my way to a work Christmas party that I've been at my job for 7 years, so it wasn't my first one, but something last year was just like, I got in the car, I drove about 10 minutes, and I turned around. I was just like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And maybe it's just part of this season, you know. It was like right before it was before I started the channel and before I had like a second outlet and everything. But being a creative, it's really hard. And I remember I was watching something. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Rick Rubin. He's a music producer, but he's like very much a positive person. He did an interview with Matthew McConaughey like this week that's going all over YouTube and stuff. And he asked Matthew McConaughey a question that just completely just like one of those moments. He asked him, he goes, "Are you living in your head or are you living in your body?" And I was just like, damn.
Mhm.
I'm living in my head like 99% of the time.
Yeah.
That's part of the downside of being a creative person is you have to have this imagination and thought process. But the downside of that is you can imagine really bad things.
Oh, I'm a
Like,
worst case scenario person.
yes,
Yeah.
and it can
It'll
build and
prevent
it
you from
can
doing anything.
Yeah.
I think one of the best portrayals. I watched Ted Lasso. I watched that earlier this year. I had never seen it before. If you've ever
That's a
seen it,
really good feel good. Like at least the first 2 seasons, extremely good feel good
but
content.
he has panic attacks. He
Yeah.
suffers from panic attacks, and like he gets the first time it shows it, it doesn't explain what's happening. You don't know what's wrong with him.
Mhm.
He feels disconnected. He starts shaking. His heart's racing. He has to get out of where he's at. He goes outside, and he's just like he's shaking.
Mhm.
And I'm like, man, that is a super realistic portrayal. Whoever wrote this has gone through it before. But I watched that too because it's such a feel good thing. And then it got to that part and it made me like it even more because I was like, man, whoever did this is like, they understand this. So like that's one I gotta get. I think that's out on Blu-ray now. I gotta get that so that I can return to it and watch it. But yeah, being a creative, it's bad because you got a great imagination. You can imagine the worst case doomsday scenarios in great detail. And that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, dark sense of humor and everything to go along with that type of stuff. Yeah, Daniel, what about you, man?
Yeah, great stuff, guys. I also want to shout out Tales from the Shelf in there. I recently watched your video about why collecting isn't fun anymore. I thought that was really good stuff. Yeah, for me, I don't have a lot. Like definitely, you know, dealt with some anxiety in my life, nothing like too extreme. Like definitely some social anxiety, but I've mellowed out with age. I think more so my wife deals with anxiety, you know, like a much more legit way. And I think a lot of my journey is like learning about that and learning how to be more supportive for her and more understanding of those kind of things that I'm not necessarily always the most educated about. I think one reason that I'm very lucky is I've always had a very open relationship with my dad, like my whole life. And like, I've always known I can talk to my dad about anything. We can be very open about emotions. So, you know, I was kind of thinking about that when you guys were talking about fathers a little bit. So I think that's why I've always been fairly emotionally open person and always talking through things with people as much as I can, which I think has been a good thing for me. I think the one thing that I might talk about is stress over YouTube, which Chase talked about a little bit. Definitely dealing with that these days. Because like I think what happened for me is during like leading up to the Halloween season, like August, September, October, my channel took off pretty dramatically. And it got a lot of hopes in me because my eventual career dream is I just want to be like a film historian. It's not a very realistic goal, but like all I really want to do is like study the history of film and like discuss it and analyze it. And that's what I want to do. And I have like a day job and I'm able to support my family with it. And I'm very thankful for that. But that's not what I want to do long term. And when the channel was just really taking off, it kind of felt like that dream was actually in reach, which is pretty crazy. And it was something my wife and I were talking about more. And then Halloween ended and things crashed way down. And I don't know if it's just, I don't know why I didn't expect that because I am a horror focused channel. and you would think that would happen after Halloween, but I've noticed there's some other horror focused channels that hasn't happened for. But then I've also like found some Reddit threads. Chase and I were talking about this of a lot of people experiencing like weird algorithm changes and like the patterns of their audience changing quite a bit, like right around that time, like end of October. Anyway, I don't know what's going on with that. But so now it's like repositioning my head where like I was starting to think of this more like a future career path and like how can I actually make this real, and then that's not really working anymore. So then trying to reform my brain of, well, I need to go back to where it's just fun and worry about this stuff less. But there's a weird thing I've started thinking about a lot lately, which is the YouTube Studio app. I don't know if you guys use the YouTube Studio app. You can have it on your phone or you can access it on your computer. I've really realized lately it's really specifically designed to make you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't matter how much your channel grows because it will always adjust for that.
Yep.
So like you can have numbers on a video that a year ago you would have been over the moon for. But if it's like lower than your past few videos, you'll get all those gray down arrows. You'll get a message on there that says your audience is less interested in this, or this is appealing to a smaller audience, or something like that. And you like have to remind yourself, well, I should be happy about this. But the YouTube Studio app is like instructing me not to. And that's something that I've been thinking through a lot lately and trying to get over that, but it's difficult. So
it's super stressful. It's super stressful because you're like, we've talked about this, like you said, like you're on this path and you're just, everything you're doing is right. And you keep putting forth the work, and then you keep putting forth that same work. And then now it's reaching half the people, or you're getting like half the results. And it's like, whoa, I didn't change anything I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand YouTube's algorithm as a whole, like exactly what they push and what they don't. It really is just difficult. It's a hard code to crack.
Yeah, I learned with YouTube. I kind of treat YouTube the same way I do like some things at my job. Like I'll get directions from people that I think are just stupid, and I'll follow them for like a week, and then I'll be like, I realize people don't know what they want until they see it. I kind of do that with work. I'll just do something and be like, well, if they don't like it, they'll tell me they won't and go back. So with YouTube, I've kind of noticed that too. Like with Halloween, I had a whole month like planned for horror. I got like 4 days in and realized none of my audience wants to hear horror. So I stopped that and I just changed. I even put a poll out. Like, what do y'all want? Do y'all want me to talk about horror? And they're like, majority, yes. Nobody showed up. So I just stopped talking about horror, and I was just like, I'm going to talk about what I want. And it's one of those things where I don't let that part stress me out. I do notice when I think it's stupid how they tell you like, oh, this one's doing better. This one's not doing as good as your previous ones, or I think that's a little too numbery. But it's something that I can't control. I can't control the algorithm, It's constantly changing. And I feel like I can't just try to chase the algorithm, because then you start falling into being repetitive and not being original if you're just following it. And that, I think that's one of the hardest parts about YouTube, is just finding something you're just comfortable with and accepting. I hope people like this.
You got to be yourself. Like,
So to go in really quick, one is thank you guys for all that. That was fucking awesome. And two is that little segue that we kind of talked about behind the chat, is the sense of validation. So meaning that if you hit a certain number, you think you're doing pretty well, and then it kind of dips, and then you lose that type of status, that type of the confidence level, really, of like what you're creating and everything. And then you try to do some other things to make that to go past that, and some things may be unethical. Some things aren't, but because again, it's not all about the subscriber amounts that you have. It's all it's about connecting with the individuals who watch your channel. I mean, that's part of the reason what I do in my channel is I talk about many facets of physical media, the horror genre, mental health, all this other type of stuff. I do live streams. I mix it all in because I get tired of talking to a damn camera and I want to talk to genuine people. And I think live streaming is a perfect format. And I can see why a lot of other creators do that. And because it's just instant connection. You're talking with people, you're talking with the panel. I mean, it's just fabulous. But I kind of, I'm not going to lie, man. I kind of want to talk about that. What we talked about in the behind the scenes is that doing whatever means getting to that market any means necessary of I don't know, that's kind of hard to explain in a sense of like, yeah, Chase, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm not going to call anybody out by name or anything, but when you cut corners and you get to where you are, you get a subscriber number or whatever by a non like authentic way, whether you pay for them, there's services out there that you can do all that kind of stuff. And just to get that validation and to get this big number and to get that damn YouTube butt and all that kind of stuff. To me, that is like playing a game with someone and they're letting you win. Who the hell wants to do that? There's no sense of accomplishment there for me. Like, I like if the game is fixed, it's not worth playing. I want to do it and I want to make it and I want to win and I want to do well myself, not from because I bought it or because I cheated or because I took a shortcut to do it. Because in the end, I mean, if people aren't watching, then and they're not connecting with you in the long haul, it's pointless. It's pointless. That's not what I'm here for. Like today, I dealt with some pretty hardcore trolls on a couple of channels, and before I could even say anything to them, the people who follow me in my community or whatever, they were already on these people that normally never, comment on my channel, dropping in to, say this and that about me. Before I could even say anything, they were in there and they had my back. That's what you want. And you're not going to get that by cutting corners and, oh, look at this subscriber account. Like, come on, man, like we know what kind of happens in an authentic way and what doesn't happen in an authentic way. Like if, you can see when people are going, you might get a big video or two and you get a big bump and all this kind of stuff. But, if you're out here and you've got like 100,000 new subscribers in 2 weeks and you've been at this level for 3 years, it's like, yeah, come on. But I don't see how that people do that to seek validation. That wouldn't validate me because I didn't earn it. So, but I mean, I guess that's just a different mentality.
Something really quick, and I just thought about it, is that for people who don't know, who aren't on the YouTube side of the business, like there's ways you can purchase subscribers. And I know when I first started a channel, I'm not going to fucking lie. Of course, I kind of like looked into it because of course you want to hit these numbers and everything, but I didn't. I wanted to do things organically. And then you get these people who like randomly email you of like how to have better thumbnails or like how to improve your fucking channel or some shit like that. Which again, that's their business, whatever. I'm pretty sure they've had some success, but I just ignore those people and delete the emails. But like for people who don't know, like there's that type of stuff. There's that revenue. I don't know. I don't want to say like the dark side, but it's just maybe some things that I don't know if other creators like have talked about, but like it's there to like for creators to utilize. But as Chase stated, it's like empty views, empty contacts. So yeah, it's all kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Plus the subscriber count, it really truly is just a vanity number. Like it's really not important because like nobody watches every video from every channel they subscribe to.
Mhm.
And like whatever your subscriber count is, most of your view numbers are probably going to be a good bit less than that because nobody watches every video. So especially the way the algorithm works now, like it used to be more so you went to your subscriber feed to click on videos. Most people now click from their recommendations feed. So it's really more based on like how much YouTube recommends you rather than how many subscribers you have. And that's also why the idea of getting a bunch of bots to subscribe to your channel to make it look like you have the biggest physical media channel on YouTube, which there is a channel right now that technically by subscriber count is the biggest physical media channel on YouTube. It's very ridiculous. It's not going to get you anything.
And no one buys into that.
Yeah.
And it's too unbelievable, especially just, the physical media community as it is anyways, and like the world's biggest community.
No, it is certainly not.
I'll die happy knowing that I hopefully will never have a hate forum or a Reddit forum about me.
Yeah.
as long as like
a positive one.
Actually.
A positive one, yeah, but I don't know how much positivity is on Reddit.
Oh my! Hey, I googled myself to see the other day. I googled Chase and AV Pop Culture, and a Reddit.
Have you ever done that and put Reddit next to you?
It popped up. Reddit popped up, but it was just like 2 comments, and the one guy, they were both nice, and I'm like, okay, I'm never googling that again. I'm going to leave it right there.
I've done that, but before. Well, when I discovered that Reddit forum about that one person, I was like, I kind of did it to myself, and I was like, okay, I'm not mentioned anywhere on here. I'm good. Yeah. I'm still low level.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, just really quick, is that I want to acknowledge Sako. Thank you so much for gifting five memberships.
No.
Again, I don't know who got them. It looks like I don't know if John got them, but yeah, it doesn't say from my end from StreamYards. But thank you, Sako, so much for your generosity. I really appreciate it.
Was that 10 memberships for you tonight?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
There's some guy named Scott in here who seems like he's trying to start some drama.
What?
No, not that one. His one above.
Which one? I see Sako. From my end. Oh, this one right here?
No, Scott. Yeah, there it is.
Oh.
I don't know if I believe that, to be honest.
Well, again,
I talked to Chase about this. I'm not gonna call you out. I'll call you out. Like I don't respond to negative comments that much. Like I
don't either.
I don't mind. Like I love because conversations should go 2 ways. There's a difference if somebody's like, I respect somebody way more that is like, I don't agree with you, but I see where your point is more than you fucking suck. This movie is like the greatest thing ever. Like, I didn't really know I forgot what bullying was until I got on YouTube as an adult.
Right?
Dude, I had a random one tonight on a video tell me on my 10 Thanksgiving videos, like just lay into me that they don't believe I've ever actually watched The Big Chill because I said that it takes place over a Thanksgiving weekend and they're reminiscing about a past Thanksgiving and stuff in there. And I'm like, and they're like, you don't know that movie. Nice try. You're pathetic or whatever. And I'm like, here's a link to like where they're talking about this. Here's where the director says that it's Thanksgiving and like all this stuff. And I was like, but it's just a Thanksgiving vibe video anyway. That like
that
Rocky doesn't take place on Thanksgiving either, but the whole thing, but whatever.
Some people take something so personally. I mean, Frank, you remember this one when I did my Alien Romulus video. I didn't catch myself in editing, and I was in such like a passionate rant that I didn't call a face hugger. I called him a face crawler, and I didn't catch myself. and people are like, it's a face hugger, you idiot.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not
like,
even like an official term. It's just something.
Yeah,
people
it's like, have
know.
you ever seen an Aliens movie?
you
Like,
can't make
totally
human
different.
mistakes.
Yeah, you can't, especially if you're like just like ranting and you're just in the passion of something. You're just like, you said it wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. It's
Mhm.
just like,
The
you know,
best is when you get like 1 year off, and it's like, oh, he doesn't even understand. It was 95, not 96. It's like,
Oh yeah,
I just said 5.
yeah.
Yeah, Chase, that comment you mentioned, that represents 2 of my big pet peeves with comments. And one is people who will catch you got a little, even if you weren't wrong, they'll catch a little detail you got wrong and then question whether you've actually seen the movie. And it's just
Yeah.
like, do you really remember every little detail about every movie you've ever seen? Like, that's a ridiculous expectation.
Right.
And then 2, I actually get this a lot where people correct me in the comments and they're wrong. It's really
Yes.
hard to hold
You don't
myself
wanna, like,
back.
Yeah,
say
I hold
something
back
back
on
to
the
that.
yeah.
I
but
usually
then I just
agree,
think,
like it's not worth the fight. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I
I'm
had
with
one
Brian.
today. Yeah, I had one, and I think I commented, but I don't remember. I wasn't mean or anything. It was just kind of like, I kind of asked, like, did I really say that? Like, question mark and like laughing or something.
Every now and then I'll drop a stinger like today on the response. I said, well, here's the link to the here's this video. But to be fair, I was like, I said this is just like Thanksgiving vibe video movies, and I said that I hadn't seen it in a long time. I'm like sitting here holding it, like yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time. I need to revisit it. I was like, but this, and this. And Frank, you'll know this. The person tried to get me because they said they're watching it's happening in October because they're watching the Michigan Ohio State game. And I was like, well, if you want to go there, that's the last game of the season, and they play on Thanksgiving weekend.
They're trying to out football knowledge you.
Yeah.
I mean, you could look up when that game was played if you want, but I mean, it's still you're not wrong. It feels like Thanksgiving, that movie. I don't care, like the amount of like bringing old friends back together,
Yeah.
the music playing, the dinner scene. Like, come on, that
Yeah,
feels
it's a
like
vibe.
Thanksgiving. Yeah,
It's
I mean,
just
just because it's not on Thanksgiving Day. I mean,
Right.
how many Thanksgiving movies are there really out there anyway? You got to
Not
find
that
movies
many.
with scenes.
Surprisingly few when I started doing those lists.
Planes, Trains, Automobiles, Dutch, and the Thanksgiving movie from last year. That's like really it as far as full Thanksgiving.
Oh no, there's more. Chase will tell you.
Oh yeah,
He's
Son-in-Law.
got
Well,
2
Son-in-Law
lists.
is my favorite.
Oh, son. I love it. Good point.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks guys. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if there's anything else you want to dive into, but like, yeah, I just really wanted to have like just like a real authentic talk about, of course, mental health, the support groups, how it can help us as individuals, as content creators as well. And then just kind of talk, just kind of like shooting the shit too, guys.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and that's I think that one, I've been trying to get all of us together for a while, and I think that this has been a fucking fantastic live stream. I love everyone's take on all the topics that were discussed today, and so yeah, I mean, I think people have also mentioned in the chat too. So yeah, man. I think that's about it. We're over 2 hours, man. That shit went by
It
fast,
goes by
guys.
quick.
It goes by really fast. So yeah. So one, again, if you're not following every single person on this on the panel, please do so. I'll ask you guys to promote the shit out of your channel. So I'll start with John. Go ahead.
Yeah, guys, I'm John. Let's Talk Entertainment Media. You can find me, and I'm usually just reviewing 4K Blu-rays, Q&A show on Saturday, and Let's Talk Physical Media on Sunday. And that's really it. I'm here every time Frank does a live stream.
Yep. Brian, go ahead.
I'm just some random Joe Frank found off the side of the road. I don't know half the time. I make this shit up as I go. No, I don't know how to promote myself. Last movie standing. We talk movies. We talk physical media. Try to be as real. In search of authenticity is gonna.
I'll promote Brian. Brian has extremely unique taste and very unique topics that most physical media YouTubers will never talk about, and I love that. It's It's a breath of fresh air of a channel.
You need
Yes.
that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, really good stuff. And he's a filmmaker too, so like he knows his stuff when he does that. And he's a big American Pie connoisseur.
Just a little bit.
I'm here to bring back the raunchy comedy love.
I
We
love
need
it.
that. We need that back.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. No, Chase, go ahead.
I'm Chase with AV Pop Culture, and you can find me there. I do a little bit of everything. I do 4K reviews. I'll do some physical media news in there. Chase's Targets. Everybody loved that. My Chase's Targets. Even got the old Predator Target shirt. That was fun. And I do lists and rankings. I love it. I don't know what it is. It's just like the competitive thing in me to do a list and to do rankings. It's fun. So I do a little bit of everything and all kinds of movies, even when people don't watch them, because I like all kinds of movies, and it always drives people nuts because like I made horror movies, but also made a drama, like I just like all kinds of movies. And so I'll do a rom-com list. I'll do horror list. I'll do, whatever. I'll do it all because I just love movies. So, get a little bit of everything there, physical media. And of course I love collecting. I love the art. I'm a sucker for packaging. I am. And, yeah,
You're a
that's
chunky
me.
box guy.
I am. I'm a chunky box guy. I'm a chunky box and art guy, man. I don't know. That's that 80s thing, man. Going in the video rental stores and picking out movies by artwork. Yeah. So it's still there.
Mm-hmm. Daniel.
Okay, Chase, as long as I've got you here, I finally need to ask you this question. Are you AV pop culture or AVA pop culture?
Okay,
I hear you say it both ways.
Okay, so I'll explain that real quick. So I think it is AVA Pop Culture on there, and the reason is, so I was thinking, I have another channel where I cover theme parks. I've had it for like 2 years. It was for fun, right? And it was American Vintage Adventures. So that's AVA. And so when I came over and started this channel a few months ago, I did I combined it. And I was like, well, it's American Vintage Adventures Pop Culture. But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, AVA is like the audio visual, thing, and pop culture. So I just shorten it, but it technically is AVA Pop Culture because it's American Vintage Adventures Pop Culture, this side of it. But AV Pop Culture just always seems to roll out of my mouth better. So I'm like, and it's AV, American Vintage Pop Culture, or audio visual. It kind of just stands for both. But I figure it gets the point across at some, like if you're confused, I got the sign that says American Vintage Adventures and the pumpkin that says AV Pop Culture. So, but it is technically AVA.
Oh, okay. I've always kind of wondered that, so I thought, well, as long as he's here, I'll ask. Yeah, you can find me at the Cobwebs Channel. I mostly talk about horror movies. I did just put out a Criterion recommendations video that's like multiple genres though, so that was fun. And then I think my next list video is going to be another folk horror list, and then my Christmas horror list is going to be coming soon in December. So I'm excited for that. And I'm sure Chase is going to have one too.
Yeah. I'll definitely have some of those. Those will be fun. I'll bump Daniel up. Daniel is the one that watching videos pushed me on over the edge to go ahead and start this channel because I just had so much fun watching his channel. He was like the first one that I found. So it introduced me and reintroduced me to movies that I used to watch with my dad who passed away a couple years ago. So I was like, this is a way to honor him and start talking about movies with people again. So I appreciate it.
That's great. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah. Again, thank you guys for joining. You know how much I love y'all. So, and yeah, guys, I hope you guys had a great time. So,
Sure did.
Yeah. So, thank you guys and have a good one.
All right. See you guys.